Welcome back, and thank you very much for joining us for our final segment. You're watching The Point, where we discuss matters concerning economic policies, concerning different things that do affect our businesses here in Uganda, and how we can be able to streamline businesses and management so we can be able to survive in this economy and even do much more. And today we are talking microfinance and money lending businesses, SACCOs, and savings. And I've been talking to Mr. Alex here. We've been having a very wonderful conversation. And I think if those of you are online and are following and getting to understand whatever is going on here, it's very, very important for our financial knowledge here. Now, before we went into the break, we were talking about defaulters and so many other issues concerning money lending. Before we wind up this topic, there was a concern that money lenders, after lending people money and that they fail to pay, sometimes take over the properties and they want to sell on their terms. They want to sell at higher prices that the borrowers think are exorbitant and are taking advantage of them. What does the law say, first of all, when it comes to money lenders taking over property?
Yeah, thank you so much, Anthony, for that wonderful question. One, I would advise any person who wants to access money from a money lender and he or she is pledging landed collateral to always do evaluation for that particular asset that they are pledging as security. Usually, evaluation report has a market value and a for sale value. In times of loan distress, where your asset has to be liquidated, where your asset has to be sold for the money that you borrowed to be recovered, it's clear that they cannot sell below the for sale. That's a legal requirement. They cannot sell below the for sale value. So if you have not done a valuation report for your asset, you are exposed to the risk of any lender determining or choosing at what price to pay, at what price to sell. Because once you do evaluation by a competent and registered valuer, you have that valuer indemnifies you from a number of risks, including issues to do with how they arrived at the price that they quoted in the valuation report. So, ladies and gentlemen who are watching us, who are listening to us, it's key that before you take on some of these loans, make sure that some of these requirements are fulfilled. Two, the law is clear. Once I have defaulted and I don't have cash flow to pay back, the law gives me the first call to look for buyers to buy my property, and I'm able to pay back your loan without unnecessary tension. I know, Anthony, there are genuine money lenders in town, and these have been very supportive to different businesses to grow, yes, and they actually follow the law. But it's also a fact that we have quack money lenders who are keen on possessing people's assets. Someone is lending to you their money, not to help you, not to support you, but to actually indirectly acquire your property. So, ladies and gentlemen who are watching us, we need to be extra careful, we need to be keen as we source for credit. You don't want to source credit from a wrong source. Instead of this credit being a blessing to you, it becomes a curse to you. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So there definitely comes, the law comes into action. You
Yeah.
don't just sell someone's property.
Yes.
And you talked about the fourth cell, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Could you just throw a little more light there for people to understand what is the fourth cell value that you're talking about?
Yeah, thank you so much, Anthony. Once you do a valuation report, it will have what we call the open market value. Now, the open market value is based on the economic conditions that are prevailing at that material time, the location of the land, what is on the land, the use of that land at that material time, the potential of growth in that area where that land is located. So those factors influence the open market value.
That is when you're getting the loan at that point.
Yes, but that is when a valuer is conducting a valuation.
Okay.
Then now, within the valuation report, the valuer is also mandated to give a first sale value. Now, a first sale value is that value against which, if the worst comes to the worst and you want to sell, this is the last or the minimum price that you can obtain. In practice, from experience, you will find that the first sale value is usually about 30% of the market value. So if the market value is about 100%, then you always find that the first sale value is about 70%. So that is that first sale value is that value against which, if I am to sell my property now without putting it out there in the market and marketing it, this is the minimum price I can get. Now, when you are to borrow and the worst comes to the worst, they cannot sell your property
below the fourth sale.
Below the first sale value. If that happens, that's an illegality, and if you notice that quickly, you can always rush to the temple of justice and seek for an injunction against that sale to stop it from proceeding until issues around the values of the property have been harmonized. Yeah.
Well, that's very clear. Thank you so much. Now, getting back to the parish development model and other government initiatives that are probably to come ahead, we've seen in the past what we've, of course, experienced, people getting this money, especially politicians, and promising old women who have formed their circles that we are bringing money from government. And at the end of the day, these women think they are taking money from government. It's not actually credit. It's a gift, right? And people have misappropriated this money. You know, people have taken this money and, taken their children to school, fine, but they have never paid back. And government, in this case, is the loser. So what lessons can we draw from some of these experiences in order to better the parish development model and probably other initiatives that could come in the future?
Yeah, thank you so much, Anthony. I want to believe that a significant portion of the people listening to us or viewing us have an idea of what the parish development model is. Basically, this is one of the new models that government has come up with to engineer development starting from the parish level. Government has told us that in effect they are bringing government to the parish level. So what is going to happen is that each parish in this country is or has already established a parish circle. So in this parish circle, government is injecting a total of 100 million. Government has made the commitment that as resources become available, money will be increased. But for the start, there will be 100 million injected in this circle. Now, this money is not free money. It is a revolving fund for people at the parish who are engaged in different productive sectors with a keen focus on agriculture, with a keen focus on mioga, like metal workshops, mechanics, carpentry, saloon operators, people who are already engaged in income generating activities.
So in other words, alinao yayongerwa.
Yes.
Okay.
So, so the money is being put in this circle for members who are at the parish level to be able to access this money. So my appeal is this money is coming to support us as Ugandans to improve our economic well-being. To note, this money is not for free. You borrow and you have to pay back. This is a revolving fund. The idea is that as people take this money, there's interest they will be paying. That interest will support this fund to grow. Will support this fund to grow. So it's not free money, but I know in some areas.
What are the interest rates before we?
I need to confirm. I'm not very sure.
I've had 8%. I don't know how true that is.
Yes,
between 8 and 12.
The interest rate I'm very sure about is the one by Microfinance Support Center, which is 12%.
Yes.
And I know this model is benchmarked against that, so it should be within that range.
Okay.
But we can always confirm that to our people. So, so now this money in some areas, people are being told it is government money, so it is free money. Please, it's not free money. Don't pick this money to go and marry the second wife. You'll be arrested because you have to pay back this money. Borrow this money, put it in an income generating venture, definitely you'll be able to pay back. The interest rate, even if it was 10% per annum, it sounds, it's still high, but it's not like the rate from commercial banks. Yes, because commercial banks, you're talking about 25, 24% per annum. So this is a relatively low cost capital. So members get organized, access this money, invest it, you'll grow your business. One of the things that needs to be handled properly is how do you deal with politics around this model? Because when you look at the committee of the parish circle, there's some element of politicization. So this needs to be dealt with so that political interests do not undermine economic interests. And this has been a challenge before with the different programs. One of the things, one of the challenges the youth fund suffered was politicization. Two, we need to guard against a few people coming up together and overpowering the rest of the parish and accessing this money themselves. And then they start managing on how to pay back, and some of them usually even run away. And then they even make it a political issue that they are being persecuted for having supported the growth of the circle.
Yes. So
that also needs to be dealt with. My other concern is you are taking money to people, but if from my recollection, I have not seen a deliberate program to train these circles on how to manage a revolving fund. That committee at the parish requires some capacity building on how they are going to steward this fund. If this is not done, we'll have some bit of challenges with how to manage the fund, because if it is not, if capacity is not well enhanced, you have personal issues coming in, grudges coming in, and interfering with a very robust program, which I believe the intention is to get the 68% people that I talked about from subsistence economy to the money economy. So these are some of the capacity building, avoid the politicization, continuous training, fight corrupt tendencies within the leadership of the circles. Yeah, that once some of these fundamentals are put in place, then they should, this program should succeed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you very much, Mr. Alex Muhwezi, for sparing time to actually get to educate the public and get this information and these insights across. Gentlemen and ladies, we've talked largely about microfinance, what really it is, and the aims, and why government is concentrating on this particular area through initiatives like the parish development model, and how the mindset we should really go with should be that of growth, not starting. We are not trying to start something. We are trying to grow something from some place to a better place, so that we have everyone included in the money economy and have different people participating in our economy. Mr. Alex, thank you very much for sparing time.
Thank you too for inviting me and hosting me. And thank you to our viewers and listeners. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow, thank you so much. And my name is Anthony, and I have been your host. This is The Point. We'll catch you next time, same place, same time. Bye for now.